welcome to Flamecast. This is Todd Pletz.
This is Wes Swingley.
This is Cory.
The difficulty of three people begins.
Yeah, got Cory back after how many years? But there's a lot to talk about here. So, there's a lot of stuff that was released this past week with the San Diego Comic-Con. So we're going to go through every single one of these trailers and talk about... No, I'm just kidding. That's just way too much crap.
Yeah, so I probably should have watched one of these trailers, is what you're saying?
Well, yeah.
I watched a few.
There's some... Well, I guess I did watch all of them as I was putting them in the agenda, but we don't have to talk about them all. Because, well, first of all, there's the movie ones. Yeah, they showed one for that Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of Grindelwald. Although I'd never seen the first one.
So why is it on the agenda?
Because it was shown there, and I thought maybe you had seen some of these, but...
No, I am not the target audience for those movies, I think.
Okay.
Cory?
So,
I've never even heard of it.
They're Harry Potter
spin-offs. Like prequels.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know, have you even seen the Harry Potter movies?
I've seen some of them. Maybe the first three.
Well, if you ever had a DVD player, you could...
I do, it's just not hooked up.
You could get them from my library.
It did feel like, just as a general impression, you know, usually for Comic-Con, I do hop on there and pick out trailers. I didn't really feel compelled this time. It seemed like there wasn't a ton. Wasn't very exciting, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's nothing that really stood out, but I was interested in seeing if they had any Aquaman footage, new footage. And I don't know if you'd seen that one, but that one actually looks pretty good.
I saw the Aquaman one.
No, I didn't. I heard it was a lot more comedy interjected in it.
In the first one, but the one they released at Comic-Con, it was more story and action. So it kind of makes me want to see it. But I'll probably see it anyways. But
when? Yeah, of course. When does that come out?
That comes out December 21st. So, still got morning voice.
Yeah.
Another one that looked interesting was that Alita Battle Angel.
I've never even heard of this.
It was supposed to be out, what was it, like last weekend, but they had pushed the date to December, like same day as Aquaman. And it's a James Cameron movie, actually. But it's taking one of the anime properties and making it non-animated.
Live action. Yeah, that always works well.
Well, this one doesn't look too bad. The main character still has that anime type look to them.
Yeah, I did hear about this. Apparently they got flack that the eyeballs were ridiculous on the first trailers.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I don't think they've released a new trailer, because the trailer that I found online was still the old trailer that said it was coming out in July. So,
well, somebody said that they had shrunk her eyes down a little bit so she wasn't as creepy. So I don't know if that means that there was more footage or just stills.
I don't know. I'd have to do another search on that, but it looks interesting. Anyways. One that I was kind of surprised to see was this Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but it's animated.
Yeah.
and they just say Christmas of 2018. And it looks like you have like an older Peter Parker, and then he's got Miles Morales, and there's the main character. And they run into some of the other, I guess Spider Friends or whatever you want to call them.
I wish they did more of these animated ones. I think I'd asked you. You haven't seen the. I can't remember what it's called now. The old man, Batman animated movies, have you?
Shoot. Are you trying to think which ones?
Do you know those, Cory? Cory, I don't remember what your level of comic interest is.
It's pretty high, but I don't know if I've seen.
Shoot, what's the?
They're the ones that are based off of the. Is it
the
Frank Miller? The
Dark Knight stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a pair of movies from that animated movies that are fantastic.
Actually be on Hulu right now. I was just looking yesterday, and they've got like a dozen DC animated movies.
Cool. Yeah, check them out if you haven't watched them.
I actually do have the Blu-rays for those. I think it's Blu-ray and DVD, maybe. But yeah, I've got part 1 and 2. But yeah, those are pretty good. But all of DC's animated stuff, that's all, straight to video.
Yeah.
Kind of the way their live-action movies should be.
Yeah, the animated stuff is actually really good, and then
yeah,
they
that's
get
what
to
I'm
the
saying.
live-action
They
stuff,
should
and it's like
stick with that.
They need the people working on the animated stuff to work on the live action.
It's just that with animated, they have better actors.
Yeah. Oh, that's one that I forgot to put on. I don't know if there was a new trailer for it, but wasn't there stuff for the new Wonder Woman movie?
I don't think there was much of anything that I remember.
Yeah, I can't recall. I'd have to look that up. The website that I was getting most of these from didn't have it listed, so I'm like, although they did have something for Shazam, which I'm really kind of unsure about.
Yeah, that movie looks weak.
It could be a surprise, right? Because...
Well, you know what it reminded me of? Yeah, it's probably not a good thing. It reminded me of the Green Lantern movie.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
It's like they tried to make it funny. They get knocked for, making all these serious dark tone movies, and then they make a lighter movie like this, just for the sake of having a lighter movie. And I don't know. I expected it to be more serious, being DC's Captain Marvel.
But those movies, right, are like Green Lantern. Before you watched it, it could either be two things: really great or utterly terrible. It ended up being utterly terrible, of course. So maybe Shazam will go the other way.
Yeah, it's tough to say. But just seeing the trailer, though, I'm like, I don't know.
I think the
has
problem
good
with
people
Shazam
involved.
is that when he is Shazam, it's like the mind of the young kid is still fully active, and that doesn't seem to be quite the case that I recall. I thought when he became Shazam, he matured up a little bit, but maybe I'm just missing something.
Yeah, I don't know how he was in the comics, but it seems like in the live-action TV show back in the 70s, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember when they cast the guy, people were saying that he wasn't a very good person to play that, like, immature, kid personality.
Yeah. And even in the cartoon where they've had him in it, he's kind of aloof and kind of out there, but he learns fairly quickly in those that he needs to, mellow out a little bit and take things a little bit more serious. And that's what I've seen.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Was he in an episode of shoot, was it the Justice League animated series?
It was I think it was the Unlimited one, wasn't it?
Yeah, might be.
You know
I
what
know
this is
I've
probably
seen them
going to do?
animated. But yeah.
Just flipping through the Shazam trailer while you guys are talking, like it's just going to make me want to go back and watch The Tick again. Have you watched
live
did you watch
action
the second
one?
season? Yeah, the Amazon one.
I don't have
Oh, the newer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you meant the older one.
I mean, the old cartoon is good, of course, but the new Amazon one is quite good as well. And the actor does a really good job of playing that, sort of the same idea, right? He's very immature and kind of an idiot.
No, I was thinking of the when was that? The 1990s.
Don't say the one with the Seinfeld guy in it.
The live action
It's
1990s
so bad.
one with Batmanuel. I was thinking season 2. There was only one season of that.
Well, the only problem
And then I
thus
forget
far,
about the Amazon one.
the only problem thus far with the Amazon one is that it hasn't introduced a lot of the side characters. I'm really hankering for some Deflator Mouse and things like that. The bad guy, though, I don't remember the dude's name, but the bad guy is the guy who played Rorschach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I haven't seen too much of that, mainly because I don't have Amazon Prime. So.
You're the one guy.
Well, no, Cory doesn't
I
have
don't
it either.
have it either. I have Netflix
Well-
and Hulu.
That doesn't surprise me.
I don't need
Well,
it.
for video, Amazon Prime is terrible. Like, they have a few exclusive series. Are you thinking about getting it when the Lord of the Rings thing comes out?
Eh,
No,
No?
I'm not paying for an extra service. I don't buy enough stuff on there to even make it worth it.
Yeah, for me, it's more about the buying, because most of the stuff I buy is on Amazon.
And if I do buy stuff, it's $25-$30 and I get free shipping anyway.
Right.
I don't care if it takes
yeah.
2 days longer to get to me, because depending on the day, it takes 2 days longer anyway.
I'm curious if, as Amazon gets more exclusives, if they're going to have a model where they have just the VOD. Because there are going to be people that want to watch, especially the Lord of the Rings thing, that don't want to have to pay for Amazon. For Prime.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they have The Expanse, too, which Todd, I think you weren't watching The Expanse, if I recall.
No.
Cory?
No.
No. It's very good. The book series is good, if you're up for reading it, but the Amazon, or the sci-fi series was quite good as well.
Yeah. We don't even get sci-fi anymore because we canceled cable and we're streaming only.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think Amazon will ever spin off their video. They'll keep it bundled that way.
I'm sure you're right.
It feeds into people's, oh, I get free shipping on everything I buy, so they buy more crap, and that's where they're making money.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, so moving along from Shazam. They had one for Godzilla, King of the Monsters, which
It looks intriguing.
this one is pretty much a sequel to the Kong movie, because they did hint at that in the end credits stuff in that one. But yeah,
Did you like the Kong movie?
I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I liked it as much as I've liked any of the modern King Kong, Godzilla sort of movies.
Which Kong movie?
A couple years
God.
ago.
Yeah, it was just a couple of
With
years
John
ago.
C. Reilly. And
Yeah, I probably haven't seen it then. Did it ever
I
show up
could have
on
sworn,
Netflix?
didn't you go see it with me?
Kong?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Or maybe
think
you missed
Cory-
it and I went with Chad.
Cory, I think it's just that memorable. If you did see it, that would be your response.
I know, I'm trying to think.
Well, the Godzilla trailer, I thought it looked like it could be good. Because, for one, there's going to be more Godzilla, from what I've read. And then it's kind of expanding out into, other monsters.
Yeah.
Look familiar at all?
Yeah, I don't think I saw that Kong movie.
Okay. I must have seen it with Chad or Chris or something.
Yeah, I don't think out of the more American-made Godzilla movies, they haven't really done much of the expansion into the other monsters. It's just been Godzilla.
Well, the first Godzilla movie, it's like a lot of movie makers, they seem to think they need to rehash all
Yeah,
the origin stuff.
of course.
It's like, who doesn't know who Godzilla is?
Yeah.
And there should have been more Godzilla in that movie.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's what people are there for. And you don't really see much until, third part.
Yeah, that's such a funny thing. Like,
Was that the last one or the Matthew Broderick one?
No,
Oh, God.
I never saw the Broderick
don't talk about
one.
the Matthew Broderick one.
It's the last Godzilla from a couple years ago.
Okay. That one had the
It had the
kid from Kick-Ass
Yeah.
in it. Yeah.
And the guy from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, shortly, or for a very short amount of the movie.
So this one could be better. It's, there's Godzilla, Mothra,
Yeah, just hopping right
Rodan,
in.
and the three-headed one.
Gamora.
And there's
No, it's Ghidorah or something like that.
Oh, okay.
there's Mothra.
King Ghidorah.
Is that the gold one?
No, it's the three-headed dude.
There's a three-headed gold one too. I don't know any of this stuff.
Let's see. Mothra, Rodan, King
Yeah, Ghidorah.
Ghidorah. Yeah.
Oh, I know. I had Gamora in my name. It's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I actually kind of want to see that one because when I was a kid, I watched those rubber suit ones all the time when they were on.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite monster?
It's just, I don't know if I have a favorite. They're, I think Godzilla's, he's like he kind of comes across as the bad guy at first, but then ultimately he's the good guy because he ends up fighting a monster that's, more evil than him.
Yeah,
And then he kind of saves the day at the end. So,
that seems to be the
Just
standard.
kind of tramples back into the ocean.
yeah. Except for the Netflix Godzilla cartoon.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet. I have it on
That-
my list.
I watched part one and it was really good, but Godzilla there is basically, it seems like he's a force of nature that comes out every so often to reset the planet because all the people on Earth ended up having to flee the planet. Or they ended up, I think they ended up leaving. I can't remember if they went back to Earth like a long time later or they went to a different planet, but Godzilla was there too.
So that one that's on Netflix is just part one, you say?
I think part two's on there now too,
Cool. I have to watch that.
but it was pretty good. But in that, Godzilla he's bad. The humans are hell-bent on taking him out.
Yeah. As far as the movie ones, I guess my answer would be Godzilla. Because that's the one I'm kind of most familiar with. But, I mean, there's Kong as well, but...
I'm partial to Mothra just because he's so ridiculous.
It does seem kind of ridiculous.
Just he has that, like, doesn't he have like a dusting power thing?
Yeah, it's like a sleeping powder.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
great.
God. Should really go back and watch some of those movies.
I mean, really, it's all just completely ridiculous, but, you got Mechagodzilla.
I caught one earlier, like just a couple weeks ago. There was one on TV that was a modern Japanese one. It's still, absurd, but it had that gold dragon in it,
Yeah, I don't even know what that would be.
and the electric, like sometimes Godzilla has the like electrical power thing. I don't know if that's a different Godzilla.
I bet it has just to do with how they portray his breath.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Is there anything else? No Marvel.
Yeah, no Marvel, so we didn't have any Venom or Captain Marvel stuff, but yeah, go figure. Other than that, I didn't see anything that really interested me. There's a few others in there, but I'm just like, meh, didn't hear about this one. They're not tied to anything that I know of, but... So then they had a lot of TV promos for the next season. Now you're Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. I'm not even following Fear the Walking Dead. I tried to get into that, and I got through part of season 2, and I'm just like...
That's where we quit, too.
Yeah. It just lost interest.
But you're still watching The Walking Dead?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll still watch that one.
I heard this last season was just... bad.
I wouldn't call it bad.
The problem with these zombie shows is they can't do zombie stuff all the time because of budget.
Right.
So they have these human drama stories that, while some of that would be real, because if it's the end of the world and everybody knows, you're going to get your little group of friends, let's say, and when you encounter other people, you're going to be very much alert, because if they try something, you're going to take them out, because it's going to be survival. And it seems like that's where the shows, both of them, have just kind of gone.
Walking Dead was always, like Robert Kirkman said way, way back when, that he wanted it to be a soap opera with zombies.
Yeah.
So that is conducive to what you say. It's cheaper to do that sort of thing on TV. Yeah. But then the problem with that is you have to have likable characters, and when you have... I stopped watching like 2 seasons ago because when your main character is just such a horrible person, it's really hard to root for them.
Well...
Who would be that, Rick?
Rick.
He gets kind of straightened out somewhat, but...
Well, but it's just a constant series of that, right? Rick going crazy and going wild. Oh, and then him reforming, and then him going crazy and wild, and then reforming.
Well, we won't have too much more of that because Andrew Lincoln has said that he's leaving the show at the end of this season.
I heard, yeah.
Which makes me wonder if they're going to call it quits when the season's done.
If you look at their ratings, they're barely making any ratings now.
Well, I think that the last couple of seasons, they haven't done anything new.
Yeah. And I think people got really fatigued with the Negan thing.
Yeah. I got kind of tired of him after the first season with him, really. Because it seemed like, Rick and company were fighting these guys and took out a lot, and then Negan shows up and he's got 1,000 people behind him. And end of world zombie stuff. He just has too many people and too much stuff.
Yeah.
And especially for the time frame that's gone by.
Yeah, how long is it supposed to be? Like 5 years?
Well, you have to look at the baby. She was pregnant in season 1. And, how old's the baby now?
Have they shown?
Yeah,
I don't remember it when I quit.
She's got to be 3, 4, something.
Yeah,
okay.
When you let's say 3 years goes by. If it's zombies everywhere, there's nothing left. Rick's little crew would be the kind of things you would have where people are strung out, and it's just a day-to-day. Will we make it to the next day?
Yeah.
You wouldn't run into a group that Negan's got 3 years into this, because the supplies would be gone.
Well, and my favorite one that I think, of all things, I think Last Man on Earth is the only one that acknowledged is that gasoline goes bad.
Yeah. I mean, someone's got to be running a refinery here or there
Right.
somewhere for them to keep driving their crap around. Who's changing their oil and stuff like that?
The gasoline timeline is absurdly short too. Like I've never thought about it, but isn't it like a year or 2 years and it goes bad?
I don't know.
I'm not sure what that is. I know it can go bad over time, but you could probably take 2-year-old gas and put it in a vehicle and it would run. It just wouldn't run very well.
Right.
And then it also, I think, would have to do with how it's stored. I mean, if it's stored in a sealed container, I don't think it breaks down. I mean,
I think it's a weird chemical reaction. Here, I'll look this up while you guys move on.
But yeah, I mean,
I've got a container of gas that I keep in the garage for lawnmowers and stuff like that, and I mean that sits there longer than a year. So, because it's like a 5-gallon. It's a 5-gallon.
Oh, see.
One.
It says if you add a fuel stabilizer, 6 to 8 months. Otherwise, up to a year. Starts to go bad.
But starting to go bad and going completely useless. Right. I wonder what that time frame is.
Right. Yeah. Test it out.
No.
Yeah, it kind of always sticks in your mind when you see someone on that show driving a vehicle around. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone should be walking by now.
You know, and 3 years in to it, you know, it would be easy to go find a new vehicle sitting somewhere, but it's going to be sitting out exposed to the weather, not moving. The tires are going to be flat.
Yeah, the tires would be screwed.
The battery's going to be long dead.
Yep.
And they're I know it's all fantasy, but
and it is called The Walking Dead, right? They should be walking. Not the driving dead.
The dead are walking, not the living.
No, they made that line, remember? We are the Walking Dead. There was a line, like, second season maybe, where Rick said, like, we're the Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah. Maybe this will be the last season for them. Who knows? God, everything can go towards Fear the Walking Dead, then I'll be done with everything. Because I won't be watching that show. Just one less show to keep track of.
Yeah, I've got a lower tolerance now. I'm happier to cut and run on a show. It's hard, but Walking Dead really pushed me away after the Negan thing started.
Then we had a new Doctor Who preview, but it was only like 30 seconds, so you barely saw anything.
Yeah, but she was there, right? I think that was a real selling point.
Right. In fact, I was going to go back and look at... I'm sure they've got all these on YouTube, but Kevin Smith did interviews with a bunch of Comic-Con people on the IMDb boat. Maybe they've got the video on the IMDb, but she was one of the people that he interviewed. But, yeah, you don't see too much. Too much that you didn't already know. So, yeah. They did have a big trailer for the Orville.
So this is one I'm really interested in. Cory, I haven't talked with you about it. Did you watch the Orville?
I did.
What were your thoughts?
I overall liked it. I think some of the early episodes, the humor was a little forced.
Yeah.
But then later, like the last few episodes when there was humor, didn't come across as quite as forced. I think it's a whole case of, finding their feet.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think they kind of hit their stride somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, Todd and I talked about this. Like, I felt like they were kind of in the uncanny valley. Like, the humor was weirdly out of place, but the storylines were really, really good.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they already said in season 2, like, that's one of the things that they're fixing. So.
Yeah. And I did see something about where Seth MacFarlane said that Fox like misrepresented their show in promos.
Yeah, they made it more of a comedy.
Yeah. Which you could kind of tell once you actually did see some of the episodes. Like, okay, there's a little comedy here and there, but it's not all comedy like they were trying to portray it as.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how that turns out. If they try to, shift tones a little bit.
Yeah. And then in real life, you've got Seth dating the person that plays a security officer.
Oh, really?
And then you've got...
Isn't she a lot younger than him?
Yeah.
Gross.
And then you have the...
Why is that gross? She's probably in her, mid-20s?
I don't know.
Yeah, and he's got to be, like 40?
He's probably in his early 40s.
No, he's mid-40s at least. It's a pretty big difference.
20 years.
I say not gross because of the age difference, really. It's just gross because of Seth MacFarlane.
And then you've also got the person that plays the first officer. I can't remember her name right now. And she's dating the person that plays the pilot helmsman guy.
Yeah.
That one was just revealed, I think, in the last week or two here. So everyone's dating everyone on that ship.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Once the show's over, they'll all get divorced and whatever.
Yeah. Well, kind of along those same lines, they had a trailer for Star Trek Discovery, so it looks like they're taking Christopher Pike from the Enterprise and having him take over as captain of the Discovery, which I think they're trying to relate it back more towards what you're kind of familiar with, but on the other hand, I don't know. I just don't know about this show.
I didn't watch it because I'm not paying CBS for one show.
Yeah.
But from everything I read up on it, and not even just forum posts, just like going out there and finding out what an episode was about and kind of getting a synopsis of it all, it's just, I just don't get the people behind Star Trek. They want to do a show that's a prequel to all of it, and then they just throw all the history and canon out the window.
It's a weird thing.
And I don't know. I mean,
I've only
if
watched
they got
like
Pike
5.
coming back into it, and I don't know where Discovery fits in with the original series on the timeline.
It's not too much earlier, right?
Yeah, it takes place, like 5 years earlier than the original series or something like that.
So,
because they do make reference to Spock in this season 2 trailer.
Yeah, they recast Spock. They have some other actor playing
Although
it.
they didn't show him in the trailer. Not that I saw, anyways.
I don't know that they've even said who they picked yet. They just said that it's not Zachary Quinto, so...
Well, yeah,
he's too old.
He's too old now.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they have an opportunity to right the ship, with like when Enterprise was on, the first 3 seasons of that, there were some really good episodes in there, but most of it was just like, what are you doing? This is stupid. And then they tried to fix the ship during the 4th season, and it's like, this is where you should have started. You should have started, with the Enterprise going out and doing this exploration and forming of the Federation and all this, and all that stupid time travel and the shapeshifters. I mean, just like, come on.
Well, the problem I've had with this Discovery, I don't know, Todd, you've probably watched all of it, right?
Yeah.
I've only watched like 5 episodes, but the motivation to watch each episode is so hard because it's so intense. Like, I think they're thinking that, Game of Thrones is interesting because it's serious and it's dangerous, and they're trying to like capture that lightning in a bottle, and it doesn't work. It's just like everything, the stakes are too high, it's too stressful the whole time.
It makes me think that the people who are behind Star Trek Discovery are also behind the DC movies.
Yeah, a little bit, like it takes itself too seriously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I mean, I'll probably still watch it, but
We watched the last episode we watched was the one with the weird like creature that can jump them through space, whatever.
oh, yep.
And it's ridiculous. Like that whole episode is pure stress and anguish and pain. Ugh.
Oh,
I just-
spider.
What the heck?
Right there. Don't kill it. It's just a daddy
No.
long leg.
I don't know where he went now.
It's crawling on your arm. Nope, he got away.
Oh my god, you guys.
He's way back there now. A spider on my desk.
Commercial break. Spider commercial break.
Crap. Okay, well, anyways, there's Discovery for you.
Yeah.
I had a thought, but then it just kind of vanished when the spider came out.
Yeah, if it shows up on Netflix or Hulu, I'll watch it. If Todd buys the DVDs,
I'm not buying the DVDs.
won't watch it.
The only DVD, well, I really should get the original series on DVD or Blu-ray, because that's worthy of watching. And the one that I had to have was DS9, which I got years ago. Other than that, I really don't see myself buying any of that stuff.
They're so expensive. Like, if
Yeah,
they ever
that
came
too.
out with a single series for like $50 or $60, I might buy it.
Yeah, Next Generation would be nice to have, but yeah, then it gets into price. And,
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've gone through all those. There he is! Again!
Oh, you spider people. Well, because you're
Honestly,
distracted by
exactly.
Spider,
This time he's gone.
the next news is a very interesting one, the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised about this, that Clone Wars is returning.
Why do you think they did that? That seems like a weird move.
It doesn't seem like a weird move when you notice that the last official, Part 8 movie got so much flack. They're trying to pull Star Wars fans back in by hitting the Clone Wars again, because that was a really good cartoon series. I mean, there was a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah, but I feel like the market for that is kind of a different market, right? Like the Clone Wars market are more like niche hardcore fans, although maybe you're right. Maybe that's the people they're trying to attract.
That's the people that they need to attract.
Yeah.
I feel like the people they need to attract back after 8 are like the fans that they don't want back. Like the people who dislike 8 and just dislike it, like I think Todd, you fall into that category. That's one thing. The people that are
Wait, what?
attacking people online. I can't remember. I've talked with enough people about episode 8. I can't remember who's.
I had no
opinion is
problem
what.
with 8.
I'm generally fine with it. I know a friend who doesn't like it, but he's not like buying guns to, hunt down Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
Like, those people just need to go away. It's ridiculous.
I didn't care for the movie. There was some parts that were okay, some parts that I could continue to suspend my belief, and there was other parts that were just so bad.
I rewatched it 2 weeks ago, and I've decided that if you just cut the movie in half and threw away the first half, it's a totally fine movie.
I mean, it's just, I don't know.
I don't know. I've seen it 10 times. I couldn't tell you.
Everything, as we all know, I think we would all agree, the casino thing is just garbage.
There was no reason for that, and
It's
ultimately that
total waste of
set
time.
up the last of the rebels to get messed up.
I think that whole scene was just to set up that little boy with the force power. That's what it feels like.
It could be.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know if that kid is going to be part of the next movie or not, but we do have a casting list. They just released that, was it yesterday? Yeah, that was yesterday.
I saw that today.
The most unexciting surprise ever.
Well, I thought the surprise, well, of course you knew Mark Hamill was going to be back. And they had already talked about Billy D. Williams, but having Carrie Fisher back...
I don't know how that's going to work.
In footage that they didn't use for The Force Awakens.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah. So not even footage that they had for The Last Jedi. It's The Force Awakens. So.
Do you think they're going to kill her?
Oh, absolutely. They won't
make it easy for themselves.
I mean, that
I don't know.
Have to.
They could use that footage and just downplay her role, and
have her.
She could live to the end of the movie.
Story.
Yeah.
We don't know what the footage is,
right?
But I have a feeling that there must be something there that they can use, and I think they will get rid of her. But it'll be.
Well, it's going to be the last movie out of the Skywalker storyline, so.
Yeah. Well, the first time I watched Last Jedi, I immediately thought that was how they were killing Leia, was the, the cabin getting, or the bridge getting blown up.
Mm.
Yeah, that was
dumb.
But yeah, I'm curious to see how the Clone Wars goes. The Clone Wars, as Todd knows, I have not been able to chisel my way through because the first 3 seasons are so bad that it's just such a hard wall to get through.
Yeah.
And I've heard such good things about everything after that.
I guess the stories did get better as they went along, but I mean, I'd only gone through the series once, and that was a couple years ago. It's kind of vague.
I've watched the whole thing twice, and I liked it.
I think I just don't care about the clones very much, and the first couple seasons definitely focus heavily on the clones. I'll get through.
Yeah.
But Rebels was amazing. You need to watch that, Todd.
I still haven't seen that, and if they would get that on like Netflix or something, I would go ahead and watch it. But it's like.
Yeah,
make it accessible to me.
It's strange that it's not on Netflix because Netflix does have a thing with Disney.
They have Clone Wars on Netflix.
They've got
that's how I saw Clone Wars.
Other Disney properties on there too, and I'm really surprised that the Rebels hasn't popped in there.
Have you not seen Rebels then, Cory?
No, I haven't.
It's really good. I mean, it has stinker episodes, but overall it's really a good story.
Because I know Disney's trying to start up their own streaming service.
Right? Yeah, that's right.
So, and all these places are trying to do that these days, and the reality is that people aren't going to have 10 different streaming services and be paying $100 to $120 a month for that, when they'll just go back to cable. And then all the streaming services will fail. So, I don't know. I'm hoping Disney fails with their service and just makes a better deal with, Netflix or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even a money thing for me, too. It's a complexity, right? Like, you don't want to have to download 12 different apps and to watch all these things.
Yeah, there's that. Hulu has a good deal going where, I mean, you're getting ABC stuff, NBC stuff, Fox stuff. Unfortunately, CBS is retarded and won't put their stuff over there because they want their own service. But
I'm curious about their economics of that. I mean, CBS is one of the most obvious cases with Discovery. It must be working for them if they're doing a season 2.
Well, I think it's a lot of their other content.
It's the other crap, yeah.
Yeah, other people that are into CSI and NCIS and basically Rachel.
Yeah. She finances all of it.
Yeah. She's got to watch Young and the Restless. Which I don't think she watches too much of anymore, but once in a while I'll catch her watching it, and he'll be like, "You're watching this again?" And she's like, 3 months later, and she's like, "All I gotta do is watch one episode like every few months, and I know where things are," because nothing really changes,
right?
That kind of stuff. But,
Yeah.
anyways, but yeah, speaking of Netflix, I was kind of surprised to see this, but Iron Fist season 2, and I watched the trailer for it, and it seems like it's going to be okay. There's none of this, things that plagued the first season where, what are we going to do with Danny type stuff, like every single episode. But, and it looks like he's more confident with his powers. He can use it at will now, so yeah, you can chalk up the first one to being an origin season, and now it's kind of like established. So, and I don't know if either of you've seen the first season, but
I've heard so many bad things. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, I think.
I mean, I went through the first season and I didn't have too much of a problem with it, other than it seemed to return to, a lot of boardroom stuff, talking about what are we going to do with this guy. It's like, move along. But
yeah, it's on my list of things to watch, but I just haven't got to it.
It turns out to be pretty good. And if you're kind of following along the lines of, who the enemy is in that story, and it ties in with all the other Netflix Marvel series. So,
what amount of that, that Netflix Marvel thing, are they getting people to watch shows just because they tie into other shows? Like with Iron Fist, for example, from every account that I heard, it's terrible, but people watch it because they have to be completionist, right?
It's not that terrible. Don't believe the haters.
I do that with Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, there's that.
There's the tie-ins with the other 3 shows, and some of the Legends shows are okay to good, but then sometimes it's just like, this show is just not that good.
Yeah.
And I'm comparing it to Arrow and the Flash, really. And I just finished watching all 4 of those, like a month ago. And Arrow seems to still be doing pretty good for me. The Flash, this last season I thought was a little bit better than the previous season. They seem to stop time traveling and screwing up the timeline. So that seemed to be like a focus for a couple of years.
Although from the promo they showed, they're going to have someone that is messing up the timeline, but we just don't know it.
Right.
Thanos. Clearly it's Thanos.
Okay.
Yeah. Wrong comic series.
I feel that I've told Todd before that I feel the same way about all of these Marvel shows as I did about the Star Wars novels back in the, what would that be, the mid-90s, early 90s, when, for every one book I would read, 3 would be published.
Yeah, got to be kind of too much. Yeah, they had promos for each of those: Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and they did reveal that. God, cat. The DC crossover this time will introduce Batwoman, so So we are in the same universe as Batman, I guess. It's just like those stupid rights of, oh, you can't have Batman in a TV series when he's in the movie series and crap like that.
Oh my god.
Like, come on. But, oh, they have had Superman show up in Supergirl, so at least you got him.
On a similar sidetrack in the area of, expanding off of the agenda here of TV shows, I've been watching the new season, the new series of DuckTales. Have either of you interested in that?
I haven't.
I've heard
really,
about it, but
yeah, I've heard about it.
don't have an opportunity to watch
It's been pretty good, and it's had a couple funny little tie-ins that just make me want the other thing. Like, one of the episodes had Darkwing Duck little tie-in, and it just makes me want a new Darkwing Duck now. But
Isn't David Tennant one of the voices in there?
he could be.
I want to say he's the voice of Scrooge
I think he's
McDuck.
Scrooge. Yeah, I think you're right. And then the last episode I watched had a sort of subtle, not even remotely subtle, Gummy Bears, Adventures of Gummy Bears tie-in. It was great.
Weird.
So yeah, they're doing all these funny little crossovers that make me wonder if all of these old Disney afternoon shows are meant to be connected, or they're just messing with people.
Well, they'd kind of do that with some of their past series too.
I mean, DuckTales and Darkwing Duck were certainly in the same universe. They crossed over a lot.
Maybe I'm thinking of shoot, what was that Looney Tunes one?
Oh, like Animaniacs and Tiny Toons.
Tiny Toons, yeah.
Yeah, those all crossed over a bit.
Because they would have one where, Green Lantern shows up and stuff like that. Was that Tiny Toons or was that something else?
No, I don't think I remember any like
Maybe it wasn't
superhero
Tiny
things
Toons.
in Tiny Toons.
It was another Warner Brothers one though. Because when Daffy becomes the space duck. I can't even think.
Yeah.
Duck Dodgers.
Duck Dodgers,
Duck Dodgers in the
Duck Dodgers
24th
meets-
and a half century.
That was a regular Duck Dodgers series, wasn't it?
I think it was because I remember
Yeah.
one episode that I watched because it was very Star Trek 2. Like with all the space battles and stuff.
Okay.
And it was like, oh, this is awesome.
But yeah, you did have one where he meets up with Green Lantern, and I think it was like the rest of the Green Lantern Corps as well.
Hey, that reminds me. Something, again, not on your agenda, but I think because it just happened yesterday, right? Aren't they signing off rights now to the X-Men?
Oh,
So
I know
we will-
the deal went through finally.
The deal went through, so we'll now
For
have
Fox
X-Men
and Disney.
in
Yeah.
Marvel properties, right?
Because they had, 99% said yes to the deal, and the one guy that didn't said, oh, they're still paying too much. But it's Disney, so they'll make it back.
Disney gets all the Marvel rights. They better be careful to not screw things up too much with
Well-
kind of crossovers, because and this is going to be stuff from the 80s, but when they would have crossovers in the comics back then, they usually did all right. I mean, and in particular, I remember the Secret Wars, because there was some X-Men in there with, Avengers and other heroes, and, Fantastic Four was there too. And that was written really well. But there was some animosity between, the X-Men and the Avengers, just because they're X-Men. So, I wouldn't want to see a movie where they're all buddy-buddy with each other. Because from what I remember is that they weren't,
I would think if they did it, they'd probably go off of that series and have them still retain that attitude towards each other.
I would argue that a big part of the success for Deadpool is that they got around it, right? So, like, if Deadpool had been able to just use all the X-Men characters, I think it would have been less interesting than how they went.
But and I haven't read Deadpool, but is that a normal occurrence in Deadpool? I mean, does he run into the X-Men all the time?
I'm not sure, but what I mean is, like, the fact that Deadpool had these sort of, like, farcical connections with X-Men, but he's only interacting with Colossus and whatever that girl's super long name is. I thought that made it good, and that's because they're little used characters, right? So you can develop these characters all from their own. Whereas if you use somebody like Wolverine, then it's just thrown in there and
Well, yeah.
everybody assumes they know who they are and all that.
In the two Deadpool movies, Colossus and then what's her name?
I can't think of it.
Oh, God.
It's so long. Like,
yeah, it's like the Negabomb teen, whatever.
Something like
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
there you go.
She's a loose cannon.
Yeah.
And so that kind of fits in with Deadpool. And because that would be a good matchup because they both kind of lean kind of the same way. But then you get the calm, cool guy in Colossus who could actually handle both of them in a physical manner. Deadpool couldn't really do anything to Colossus, if he got all mad and tried to kill him. And so I think those characters work really well together. And
Exactly. I'm saying, like,
Professor X isn't going to send Cyclops to go get Deadpool because those characters are so opposite end of the spectrum that they would just fight all the time.
My question is, do you think if they had access to all the X-Men characters before they made Deadpool, would they have gone that route? Or would they have just gone the, like, standard shitty crossover of just throwing everything at it?
From what I read with the first Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds seemed to have a lot of say in things, and they could have easily pulled in other characters, maybe not your Wolverine, but there was a lot of stuff they could have pulled in and clearly messed it up. And now you had Deadpool 2, and Reynolds again, I think, had a lot of control, and they easily could have pulled in something. They pulled in Juggernaut, which kind of surprised me because he was in one of the X-Men movies. And,
Yeah, I don't know where all of those, like, I didn't know the details of the contracts, like how they could use Colossus and Juggernaut.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but I think, and that's why Deadpool 1 and 2 worked, is because the people that were in control of it knew how to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't think pulling in, all these cameos or whatever, it wouldn't have worked.
I think, like, for me, part of it's the same, like, philosophical argument as using the original characters in the new Star Wars movies, or in any of these where you have, like, a prequel or something like Pike going into Discovery. I think a lot of these studios and writers think we have to have this connection to the old things so that fans will feel connected. But I think in a lot of ways that distracts from it.
Well,
somewhat.
I think that having a prequel series with Pike there is perfectly, for lack of a better word, logical. It does tie us into that, but the problem is everything they put around it, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
When we first encountered Star Trek and Pike was in command of the Enterprise didn't have phasers, it was lasers.
Yeah.
And then on Shatner's pilot, I don't know if they talked about the Enterprise's weapons, but that big gun he had was a laser.
Yeah.
And so there was a transition there, and Enterprise, going back to that, here we are with Earth's first warp deep space vessel, and they really should have just done a rehash of the original series where they explore, they encounter, the Tellarites and everybody in the Federation, the Andorians, they run into the Klingons, and maybe touch in with the Romulans, but they could have made this great story about all these spacefaring peoples going out at roughly the same time, except for the Vulcans, because they were further along, and meeting up, having conflict, and ultimately coming together for the greater good of everybody, instead of the crap that they put together. And now Discovery, again, it's what I've read, is they just crap on all the established history and canon that is out there just to be different.
Yeah, everybody wants to make their mark.
And
everybody wants to be
You're
different.
not going to pull me in if you're using Star Trek as the thing that's going to pull me in. Then you need to follow some of that, established history and canon to make sure, you're in the right universe. I've read about this spore drive thing. I'm like, well, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was going to go to when the spider came.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go and start the spore drive, and they go into black alert.
Yeah, Black Alert. That's right. I forgot about that.
I just want to see, like, some member of the crew who's black look up at the speakers when they call black alert and say, "What the hell, man?" Like, really? Black alert?
Yeah. My general feeling in a lot of these cases is the Star Trek writers see you, Corey, as a person who isn't interested because the show's gone in this other direction and it's doing stupid things, and they go, but wait, we'll put in Captain Pike, so then you'll definitely want to watch it because you know Captain Pike.
I do, but I won't watch it because
Exactly.
of that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think they're wrong, but I think these things get shoehorned in a lot because the Hollywood, the writers, whatever, think that those are the types of things that fans want to hook them in.
And Pike can't stay very long because eventually, if supposedly they're in the prime timeline, he's got to go to, what was that, Talos 4? And,
Right.
Basically get messed up there.
But see, there's that there's that history again. And I think Pike was the first captain of the Enterprise after the Shakedown cruise, which was, Captain April.
Yep.
I think he was the Shakedown guy, and then Pike had the Enterprise. And from, reading about it, it seems like this is really where Discovery is taking place to the original series. It's not a very big window to squeeze that in there. But we don't know how long Pike was captain of the Enterprise. I mean, when the one and only time we encountered him as captain, he might have been captain for 6 months. Not very long. So who knows?
Well, when we do encounter him, because I remember there's that scene where he's in the, what is he, in his quarters, and that his doctor at the time stops by and he's talking about, kind of how tired he is and, of all the people dying under his command and stuff
Where
like
the doctor
that.
makes him a drink.
Yeah.
The classic doctor/bartender.
Yeah. So he must have been captain for a while at that point.
Well, he could have been captain of other vessels.
That's true.
And if your doctor was a bartender, you would bring that guy with on every vessel that you go on.
Man, how do we go from
Easily.
DC shows to Star Trek again?
Because I didn't want to talk about Black Lightning or Titans.
Oh, jeez.
The only thing I want to talk about Titans, and this is the TV show, right?
Yeah.
F Batman.
F Batman.
Didn't you see the trailer for it? For Titans?
The only thing I've
Or the
seen about
promo?
it is the drama over the very, very poor casting of the one character who's supposed to be orange with red hair.
Mm.
What's that character's name?
I cannot think of.
Star something.
Isn't it like Starfire or something?
Starfire. The one picture of the actress leaked, and she honestly kind of looks like something you'd find on a corner in a big city. She kind of looks like a hooker. And I think fans of the Teen Titans have a legitimate, there you go, have a legitimate beef with this. You know, there's anime, there's comics, there's all this stuff where the character's been set up a certain way, and it's clear what they're doing. And you know, and I'm not really a Titans fan, so it's not too big a deal for me. But it's something that I've read over the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks terrible.
Yeah, she does look like
she kind of looks like a hooker.
She should be standing along Lake Street and trying to pick up guys.
Yeah, it's just, you know, and I feel
That's
bad
not
for
her
the fans
fault.
because I've encountered this, you know, myself with Battlestar Galactica.
Because she's supposed to look like this, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and when they did the reboot of Battlestar Galactica, don't need a female Starbuck, but could have been Starbuck's daughter, and I would have been perfectly on board with that.
Right.
Doctor Who, you know, I haven't watched it. I will watch it once Todd gets it available.
Oh, I do have it available. You just got to go on to my...
With the female doctor?
Oh, the female one.
You know, and I'll watch it and see what they
yeah.
do and see if they can actually do it. But that's another thing I disagree with. They could have just made another Time Lord who, you know, make the character be what they are and don't appropriate other characters and switch them around like that.
But knowing nothing of, or very little of Doctor Who, isn't that the whole point of Doctor Who, though? Like, Doctor Who is just, you know, a personality in a body. The body's just a vessel type thing.
It is.
So there it doesn't matter. I mean, that's a perfect case to switch gender, switch whatever.
I'll actually watch it in that case because I want to see if for the first time in history they actually do it right.
Yeah.
Because this is a legitimate thing. The Doctor and his ability to regenerate can be anything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that fits within the character. But some of these other characters, where they change them, and to me there's a clear agenda there to inject something that doesn't need to be changed. You know, I'm hoping that this new Doctor Who will be good.
I think the Doctor Who one seems like you say, it seems like a perfect fit for that type of thing.
You know, just like I don't know, it was a week or two ago, I read some stuff about Star Trek 4, another movie coming out in the current timeline with those guys, and they made a big point of the female director and the female, or maybe it wasn't the director. It was a female character, good guy, and then the bad guy is going to be female. Like, the article was written in such a way to point that out, and I'm like, I don't care. Just make make the bad guy believable. Make the new character believable. I don't care if it's male or female. You know, just do it right.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on.
Oh, we got a new Chekhov, and it's going to be played by a woman.
Yeah.
You know, because if that happens, you know, it's going to hit the fan with the fans.
Yeah, you won't be able to do that. I'm kind of hoping they say, well, Chekhov's off on another ship with, you know, on the Reliant or something like that.
I would totally foresee them having a funeral at some point in the movie. Like, I think that'd be a cool thing to do. Say,
you know, and I'm kind of
maybe.
hoping that we get Savick,
Oh yeah,
because why not? Why
because
not?
you just want to see Kirstie Alley again.
Well, it won't be her, but bring that character back, because they've already, it's all these years later, they recast all these people, and
Yeah.
they've done a really good job casting everybody.
Yeah, totally.
And it seems to me that Savick would be the one to bring in, but
Yeah. I was gonna say, would it be too early? But not really, I guess, because I mean, the last movie, they were saying they were 3 years into their 5-year mission, and I mean, in the Star Trek 2, they were all basically in their 40s,
yeah.
and she's a cadet, really, a lieutenant, but she's a cadet.
Is the first one Kim
don't know.
Cattrall?
No,
Or is-
that was
No, that was Valeris.
Valeris,
She was
yeah.
in
Oh, okay,
Star
that's
Trek
right.
6.
That's right.
and that was almost written as Savick.
I thought it was like
should've-
the very first time I saw 6. I
Should've-
just thought it was Savick.
Yep, it was going to be, but they could not make a deal with Kirstie Alley to come back, so they changed her into a different character.
And the thing is, that character,
And they didn't even ask Robin Curtis, because I remember seeing an article about that, because she was kind of miffed that they just said, nope, not even going to consider you. We want Kirstie Alley back.
and the Valeris character, you could tell it was Savick, because Savick was part Romulan, part Vulcan, and it would make more sense for that character
Yeah.
to become a traitor, so to speak. Where Valeris just kind of came out of left field,
Yeah.
and she's like super cadet or whatever, because she was, all these great things, number one in her class, and all this weird stuff. And
It's like Spock's got a thing for the young Vulcan women.
but really, who wouldn't? I'm hoping it's Savick. I really do. I hope that they bring her back and give us Star Trek 2's version.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping to see something new from Comic-Con regarding the forthcoming Star Trek movie, but I haven't seen anything out there.
But that's been par for the course, right? They've not been very open with any of those Star Trek movies with info.
Yeah, I guess. But when everyone else is putting stuff out there to gain interest.
But remember, Star Trek Beyond came out the year of the anniversary, and they didn't even do anything until very last minute.
Yeah, that's true.
They have a major PR problem.
I don't know. That's Paramount for you.
Yeah.
Well, CBS. Don't they own?
Well, yeah, Paramount,
Paramount,
CBS, yeah. Which, speaking of, well, I guess not speaking of, but we were talking about streaming services before, and DC Universe is going to be one of them out there that I guess you can sign up for now.
Give me a break.
To
Another
pre-sign
service?
up. And I had the link up here earlier. I'll stick the link in the.
So are you able to just watch Batman versus Superman on repeat all day?
Pretty much.
It kind of sounds like it.
Yeah.
But
all of their content.
yeah,
movies, their
you're gonna get your
animation.
old Superman movies, your Wonder Woman TV show.
It's worth it for the old stuff, I suppose.
I wonder if they'll have the Batman '66 stuff too.
Wow.
They got the Batman from the 80s.
I can't believe, all of those things belong to different people, right?
Batman Beyond.
I don't know.
You'll also be able to get online comic books through there. I remember that.
This could be one where once it's up and running, and I've read that it works, and people are having a good experience with it, that I could see myself subscribing for a couple of months maybe,
Wonder
and
Woman.
just going through all of it, and then, cancel. Kind of a binge thing.
Yeah.
Although they are going to have their own, well, like Titans, their own series that they're going to put out.
Right.
Because you're going to have Swamp Thing, Doom Patrol, I guess a Harley Quinn series. Young Justice.
Because really,
Yeah,
DC,
that's right.
their animated stuff is almost always a home run. I mean, it's always been enjoyable. I mean,
Yeah.
I even watched. What was it? Was it Teen Titans? Was that the actual name of that animation?
Yeah, I think
I watched that on there, and that was pretty good. And I'm not even a Titans fan.
Yeah. Oops, I don't want the trailer. Stop.
My ears! Todd just blew my ears out.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get to. They had a.
I definitely
isn't there
accidentally clicked on
some-
videos while I'm
Oh, there. If I scroll
trying to
down,
catch up.
yeah, exclusive original series: Titans, Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, Young Justice, and Harley Quinn. And those are all. I want to say they're all live action. Yep, original series, comics. Get a shopping cart thing there. Basically, stuff that you get with other websites. But yeah, if you do a monthly thing at $7.99 a month, which I guess fits in with the rest of other streaming services. Annually, you get $74.99 a year.
Wow,
So
that's big savings there.
20%.
That's not very impressive.
Because that would boil down to.
Well, it depends how much content is there. That's like $6.
Yeah, $6.24 instead of $7.99. So
That's not that great.
I don't know, but yeah, it won't be available until fall. So
Yeah, like I said, it's how much content's there. I mean, if there's 2 months of viewing, then you sign up for $8 a month and call it good.
Well, speaking of that, Corey, you could do that too for, for Discovery or something like that.
No.
Or you could just leech off of Todd's.
I have looked into CBS Access thing because I really wanted to have the ability to watch Big Bang Theory from season 1, episode 1 all the way up. And it's been a while since I checked, but they didn't even make all that available. I thought, what's the point?
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'll never pay a service for one thing.
And I think what their thing is, they're, series that are currently being shown in production. Those are the series that they're like, oh, you get one season, if that.
Yeah.
And then it's going off our service. It's like, because they want you to buy their DVDs.
Well,
Yeah.
if any of these have a free month, I think it's worth. I've been thinking about doing a free month of the YouTube TV just to watch Cobra Kai. That's all I care about, and then just cancel it.
I'm thinking maybe what you could do, I can give you my access to CBS. Go ahead and watch.
How many unique streaming things can you do with them? Is it one per account, or?
I want to say it's
Most of these let
couple.
you do a few.
See, like my Netflix is good for two
Yeah.
unique streams. My sister, she's got the higher tier one, and she's allowed 4, because that way she
Yep.
can watch something, and the kids can watch what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that we run into any problems, and especially with CBS, there's not going to be 2 people watching CBS at the same time. It's just not going to happen.
We should
Unless
look.
you and I are watching stuff at the same time.
We should look.
Yeah.
'Cause you guys have Hulu also, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got CBS, Hulu, and Netflix. But,
And I've actually, Hulu was just upgraded in the last couple of weeks. I used to, when I would start it up, I had to press a button to log in as me, even though I was only the only account person. And now it just takes me right into my TV shows without having to do that extra click. It still has the same.
The Hulu interface is rough.
It's a little bit better.
Yeah.
See, like years ago with Netflix, I would fire up the app on my Roku, and then when I got in, I had to select, who's watching. Well, Cory's watching. I'm the only person on here. Why do I have to click another button?
Yeah.
Well, eventually it just goes right into it. And a couple weeks ago, that started happening on Hulu, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Now, if only Netflix would get rid of autoplay previews.
Yeah, that's irritating.
The bane of everybody's existence.
Yeah, I really hate that. And I don't know why they keep it. I think it should be
everybody hates
an
it.
option. It's like autoplay.
Well, in my TV, I have an HDR TV, and so anytime it autoplays and it's at like a different resolution, it makes my screen flicker. So as I'm flipping through things, my screen is going black and coming back on over and over.
That can't be healthy.
It's beautiful. All right. Well, I can't hang out too much longer here. I have a thing at 11.
Okay, so we'll just fire through some things then.
Through some movies. I can talk about Incredibles 2 at least.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, you should have gone with us.
You should have told me.
Or
What's your
maybe
thoughts,
I was
Todd?
thinking that you would go and you would take the girls to that one or something. I can't remember, but
Maybe.
Yep, I saw it. It was good.
Good, yeah, like good, nothing special.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's
It
about
it
where
was
I'm at.
as enjoyable as the first one, I think.
I really like the first one a lot, so this one definitely wasn't as good for me.
Okay.
But fine.
Yep, it was fine. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Just
I
saw
haven't-
that last weekend, finally.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I thought that one was pretty good. It was as enjoyable as the first, kind of the same type of thing going on. Incredibles 2, Ant-Man and Wasp. They're decent follow-ups to their originals. And
I wasn't a huge fan of Ant-Man, so it was a tougher sell for me.
I thought Ant-Man and the Wasp was better than the first one.
Yeah.
Well, the first one was kind of a letdown because, to me, Ant-Man is Hank Pym.
Right.
And so they kind of put Hank Pym out of time with the rest of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, I wonder why they did that.
And I don't know either, but after watching it, it's like, yeah, it works. In this movie, I enjoyed it. I mean, Ant-Man and the Wasp, they're a team. That's a thing.
Yeah, I'll probably end up liking it better just because
The
I wasn't
humor
such a big fan.
was never felt forced to me. It was never a situation like, yeah, we're gonna throw this joke out there and we want you to laugh. It was like a joke kind of came at you from wherever, and it was funny, and it didn't seem like it was ever like inappropriate to some of the scenes. There might have been a couple where it's like, yeah, this is kind of serious and you're kind of joking, but it didn't pull me out of the movie.
That's always the Marvel problem, right? Like, Marvel does those jokes in these, like, super ultra serious moments.
But, for the most
Too
part,
often.
Marvel's humor is spot on.
Yeah.
yeah.
It kind of fits with the characters. Like Thor. If Thor's cracking jokes while he's in the middle of, some big beatdown, it's the character.
Well, it made him a lot
way.
better, right? Because the first Thor movie was, I think, way too serious, and he's a terrible character.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a terrible character.
I think in the first Thor movie, like, he's not somebody I really cared to root for, but he seems to get better every single movie.
Yeah, because you know him now.
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
that's just him growing into his role, or if the writers are actually tweaking, how they're writing him.
Maybe some of that, but I think it's probably you getting to know the character. I mean, when I was a kid, I had a few Thor comics, and he wasn't the brightest of the Marvel heroes, you
Yeah.
know? And he kind of comes across that way. He's got some of that bravado out there, and in the first movie, even, I thought it was pretty good Thor. I mean, the cockiness and all that. He lost his powers, and I from the first Thor to the last one, I think the character's been spot on, and there's been some growth.
Yeah, he's definitely grown way more than any other character, I think.
So
Okay. And then lastly, new TV that's come on. I don't know if you guys have checked out Hollywood,
no,
but I'm behind this.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, go and Google Hollywood.
I feel like we've had this conversation before, and I've already
Nope,
forgotten.
we haven't.
No?
Because this is a new thing. It's a show that Kevin Smith started up, about 2-3 years ago, and no one would buy the pilot. So
We've definitely had this conversation before.
nope, we didn't. But this Rivet TV gave him an opportunity to. It's basically kind of like a crowdfunding to get the show going. So, you can pledge, $5.99 an episode down to $1.99 an episode, and as long as they get to $5,305,264 before August 26th,
where's it at?
then
They list the total. They list the number of people.
well, they list the number of people that they have pledges so far, and they've got the goal down at the bottom of the thing. But
they're not showing us the math.
yeah,
How
they're
much
not
they've
showing
raised.
how much they've raised so far,
Yeah.
which they need to fix their thing here on their website. But because even if you took let's see, they've got 40,755. Whoops. 755.
Wow, math on podcasts, that is exciting business.
Sometimes.
And let's say maybe the median is $2.99 an episode.
Wow, what's standard error? Come on, give it to me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they've got a long ways to go if that's the case, because it's only 121,000 right now.
Yeah.
But they've got basically a month to get all the pledges made and hopefully fund this thing. But yeah, go and check out the pilot, because it's actually pretty good. It's kind of like if you had Clerks based in a weed store.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the best way to describe it. But
Interesting.
yeah,
All
you've got cameos by Ralph Garman, who's in one of his other podcasts. You've got
I saw Jason Mewes, of course.
yep, Jason Mewes is in there. So, and the guy that's the main lead along with him, he's from Chappelle Show. So yeah, all right.
I got a split.
Okay, I guess we'll finish it off
Out
then.
early. You can finish without me. You'll be
All
better
right.
off without me.
Then we can
But-
talk bad about you.
There you go.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
It's nice
Well-
chatting with you, Cory.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Sometime.
See you guys later.
Okay. Then we've got the fan film of the month, The Dark Resurgence, a Star Wars story. I saw this one on, I belong to a Facebook group for Star Wars fan films. It's actually pretty decent. It's another one of those that is kind of like more dramatic and not a comedy. And those, it's kind of like hit or miss if they're good or not. But this one is all right. And it looks like it's won a few festival rewards or awards. So put the link out there so people can check that out. Yeah, we'll have a Kenner Star Wars commercial here.
Oh boy, I've reached Millennium Falcon. The Force is with you.
You too can play the space fantasy Star Wars game Escape from Death Star. Be the first to help Luke and Leia, Han Solo, and Chewbacca escape from the garbage dump and reach the safe Rebel base. The Force can also be against you.
Back to the trash compactor.
You spin to get past TIE fighters.
I win! All right!
Escape from Death Star. It comes complete with everything you see here. New from Kenner, from the Star Wars collection.
And a wreck. Otherwise, let's see, we've got convention news. We finally both got our tickets to Nerdin' Out Con, which is the weekend after Labor Day. Yeah, I picked mine up right before going to Ant-Man.
I think they just posted another little video saying that it was like 10% off. The already discounted price for a few more days. I wanted to say it was until the end of July or something. It's like I'd already bought my ticket, so I didn't really watch the whole video. I only caught a minute or so of it.
All VIP tickets will be $20 off. VIP plus tickets. VIP tickets themselves will be $10 off. Adult 1 to 2 day tickets and kids 1 to 2 day tickets will be $5 off. Well, that was June 17th.
Yeah. Probably scroll up. It might have been that last video that he did.
Yeah. Well, they should be talking about it too here. 2.5 hours to get the extra 10% off your Nerdin' Out Con tickets. Well, that's no longer the case because that was 13 hours ago.
Oh. Yeah, like I said,
So
I saw that they were having it, but I don't remember the dates.
Yeah.
I think, though, they're still on sale until a certain point, and then you got to pay full price.
Yeah, early bird prices were good until some point, but no, someone won tickets. Every once in a while they'll have a contest where you can win tickets, but yeah, we both got our tickets already, so
More people need to buy tickets.
yeah, I wonder how many they've actually sold.
What was your ticket number?
I think it was 808. But those are like physical tickets. That's not including online tickets, so.
Right. Mine was 900 and something. So I wonder if they just mixed them all up. 'Cause my ticket number was like 903 or something like that. And I bought mine before you.
Yeah. Yeah, they might be just kind of mixed up and say, yeah, you'd think they'd sell them in order, but I could have sworn it was 808 though.
Could have been 908. I don't know.
Might have been 908. I've got it attached to the fridge upstairs.
Everyone needs to go.
Yep. Get people out there and go to this con. So they have another one here in Rochester. So.
Yeah.
MCBA, the Fall Comic-Con in the cities, the one that we usually go to, they finally updated their web page to go from the spring one that was, back in May, to the fall one, which is in October. And they updated enough where people like me can apply for a booth there now. So I went and did that. I think it was first day they had it up, so now I'm just waiting back on word to see if I'll get a booth or not. So
Yeah.
So we'll see if we have to pay to go there or if we get to go for free.
Did we already determine that that was my weekend off?
Yes,
Okay.
I think so.
As long as it's not the
We already
end
talked
of a
about
quarter, I shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think we touched every base here.
Yep.
Corey Anderson is going to event Flamecast recording. Yeah, there's another con in the cities this coming weekend, but I won't be able to go to that one. But I keep getting a bunch of notices about it. It's oh shoot, he'll probably come up here.
This weekend?
Yeah.
Like today?
Oh, not this weekend. Next weekend.
Oh.
Hey, 5 years ago, Travis met Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Picture came up in Facebook here. Of course, now that I'm trying to find this, I can't find a post for it. Top stories, most recent. Shoot, I can't remember the name of it, but
Oh well.
yeah. But we won't be going, I guess. So,
Why?
well, I'm doing a weekend in Duluth for our anniversary,
Oh.
which isn't until the end of the month, but Rachel wanted to do it earlier, so.
Man, you guys are spending the rest of your lives together. It's just one weekend. Plus, it's not even technically your anniversary. That's like 4
No,
weeks
it's a
away.
little. Yeah, it's a little early, but crap. Yeah.
Oh well.
Well, anyways. Yeah, I guess that's it for this Flamecast. So, Wes has already signed off, and I'm Todd Plutz.
I'm not.
Yeah. And that's a wrap.